my pleasure to introduce our panelist for today's broadcast, Mike Blythe, Director of Risk Strategies for RSM Corp. Mike has held several executive appointments for international security and risk management. Mike assists commercial and government groups with both strategic and operationally tailored solutions for global enterprises, including nuclear, chemical weapons, hydrocarbon, power and water, aviation and maritime, construction, development, and consulting sectors. A U.S. resident, Mike has extensively traveled, having lived or worked in over 40 countries, including high-risk environments, and has a master's degree in security management. Over to you, Mike.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Ed. What I'd like to do is just apologize for those Americans who are on the line. I speak the Queen's English, unlike your colonial slang, so you may not understand everything I'm saying. For those who are not from America, I'm sure you'll understand every single word. Over to the next slide, please. So what I'd like to do is briefly touch upon duty of care. Duty of care is not only a moral obligation to care for people, but it also has some very strong business drivers as well. It is a moral obligation to care for your staff, but it's also a legal and liability issue if you do not. Having a strong resilience program and ensuring that your duty of care program is effective also provides good opportunities for win themes within proposals. It demonstrates to your clients that you're able to weather a storm and indeed allows you to operate in countries that you would not normally operate in. As such, as an overview of duty of care, you need to think about developing the knowledge, capacity and understanding of your leadership team, understanding that many leaders are very experienced, but they're not necessarily experienced in identifying threats, both tangible and intangible threats, and then managing crisis situations, some of which may be outside of their normal capacities and skill set areas. You need to understand as well that managers require education and training. Dealing with duty care issues and all the complexities that this entails does require some specialist education, especially if you're dealing with things along the lines of kidnap and ransom, complex attacks by terrorists, or indeed dealing with natural disasters such as earthquakes and hurricanes and floods. And understanding those risks and the threats that cascade from them and how to deal with them as an organization, both at the strategic level but also through to the operational and tactical, is critically important. It's also very important to understand that management team training may occur at different levels. So you may be looking at your corporate crisis management team, going through to regional teams or business divisions, and then down to country and local sites as well. So the right management training and education may involve different forms of training aimed at different groups of people. By having knowledge and capacity and training and policies and plans, you then create organizational resilience. And that involves not only preparing for a crisis situation that may affect one or more of your staff, but it's also understanding how to continue business and to recover business. Many organizations find that during a crisis event where an individual staff member or many staff members are affected by an incident or crisis, the work slows down or stops, and that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Indeed, part of your duty of care is to other staff not directly affected by an incident and ensuring that they're kept employed and engaged and your business is profitable and therefore continues to function. It's also very important to include risk management into your management structures and daily operations. Risk management is just another part of everyday business and should be included in the proposal process and business development, into how your projects operate, into how HR, finance, IT and other key functions manage themselves, and it should be woven into the fabric of everything you do. You should also align your ethos and principles into the risk management process as well. And so many organizations have very strong business mission statements, and risk management should be part of these, underpinning the requirement to care for staff, their family members, the business, as well as clients and other stakeholders, whether internal or external. Often management don't really understand what duty of care means. It may seem blindingly obvious to most, but it goes far beyond just caring for the individual staff member who may be involved in a car crash, may have been mugged, assaulted, may have been kidnapped, may be involved in a disaster situation. In addition, organizations don't think of it in terms of consistent strategies across widespread organizations. Sorry, I just lost the screen there for a second. I'll start again. And so many organizations don't consider how to apply this on a global basis across many different business divisions and operating areas. And the strategies are often personality-led rather than being adopted in a structured and consistent manner, and therefore you're often vulnerable to the weakest manager making the poorest choice rather than having a good roadmap about how to deal with complex issues in a consistent and structured manner. Next slide, please.